Number one morning routine used by world-class athletes, peak performers, and special operators. Really excited to share this with you. I really think it's going to help with your energy levels, your productivity, overall flow through your day. Real quick before we get into it, if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're bringing out a ton of high-value content to help you get shredded, develop an elite mindset, and grow your business. And if you're listening to this on the Chasing Greatness Radio podcast, we're growing quickly. And a big reason for that is the amount of reviews that we're getting. So do me a favor, leave us a review. Fastest way and best way to grow a podcast so we can get more high quality guests to improve your life and to educate and entertain you is to get reviews. Morning routines. It's pretty funny how much interest the morning routine has gotten in the past couple of years and on social media. Now there's like a counter to it in terms of don't have a morning routine because you don't want to spend 2 hours going through a cold plunge and going through all these elaborate things because it's just eating up your entire day. Then you're not going to get anything done. I think that's just people being divisive, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about building a morning routine to optimize your productivity so you can have an extraordinary day, so you can have a world-class masterpiece day. So all that nonsense about, oh, well, you're just going to spend 3 hours doing this and this and this and this and this. That's not what this video is about. What this video is about specifically is to provide you some high-level tactics and some in-the-weed tactics you can do to create an extraordinary morning routine to have an extraordinary day. And this is why I feel having a morning routine is so important. So when coaching clients come and work with us, we go specific in terms of what their specific needs are, and we cater to them. But there are some specific things that we do universally with everybody. When they first start, we get them a free Oura ring, we get them a free blood panel. We see what's going on under the hood with their body, with their F1 race car, or we want their Honda Accord to turn into a F1 race car. Get that, and then we base a lot of our nutrition and supplements and movement practices based on that data. Step two is two things. We have them start to really dial in and optimize their fundamentals, which is training, recovery, nutrition, mindset, focus, sleep, and breath. And we have them create a checklist for the first hour of their day and the last hour of the day. And this is something I learned from Darren Hardy about 10 years ago. He founded Success Magazine, he runs Success Magazine. Orson Swett Martin is the guy who founded that. But what Hardy talks about is the importance of having bookends to our days. So like this bookshelf is bookends here, right? This is where it ends. And he says the reason that they're so important is because once we get into our day, especially, a lot of high-level executives, entrepreneurs watching this, people who have a lot of demands from them in life, it's hard to control exactly how your day is going to go minute to minute, right? Because you're going to have meetings pop up, you're going to have fires pop up, you're a high-level athlete, you're going to have sponsorship demands, you're going to have coaching demands. But overall, for most people, the first hour of their day and the last hour of the day is where they have the most control of their time. So I am a big believer in making use and really optimizing that time. And this goes synergistically with what we're trying to do and help you optimize your physiological fundamentals, where don't overcomplicate it. Just we have our training, our recovery, our mindset, our breath, our focus, and our sleep. And then I just make sure in my first hour, I create a checklist. I have our clients create a checklist that there's a box for most of those. Sleep, we don't need to put in there because we're just getting out of bed. That is a bonus that I want to talk about at the end of this video. Make sure you stay until the end of this episode because I got a bonus I want to share with you that's going to help you have a extraordinary world-class morning. But so let me share you what mine is currently. So what is the best morning routine? It's just like asking what is the best workout plan? What is the best supplement protocol? It depends. It depends on your makeup, your goals, your genes, your environment. But there are some high-level things that I think universally work for almost everybody. So Number one is, for me, what I do is I wake up and I drink about 30 ounces of water. Why is that? Well, when we get just even 2 or 3, 5% dehydrated, our reaction time goes down, our ability to make decisions gets reduced, our strength goes down, our speed goes down. So you can just imagine, if we're laying in bed for 8 hours, that our body's going to be slightly dehydrated. I personally, at this time, I really like spring water with some hydrogen in there and some lemon juice and some Himalayan salt and or electrolytes. But I wake up, I have my water, and then I like to meditate. Do some breath work with a red light. This is one of like our foundational biohacks. I don't know if you've checked out our video or podcast on the 4 biohacks that you can do to optimize your performance and longevity that work for almost everybody. And one of those is to meditate and or do breath work before you check your phone. Okay. So if you look at our circadian rhythm, which is our 24-hour clock, or 24 hours for men, it's a little bit longer for women. Our cortisol is highest early in the morning. So we want to be cognizant and wary of spiking that cortisol even more. And looking at our phone is, one, spiking our cortisol, and 2, I'm going to talk about this in a second, but it's putting us in reaction mode, reactive mode. And that's not how we want to spend the first hour of our day. We're here to develop world-class leaders. I don't care if you're just leading yourself, your family, your team, your business. And to do that, you need to be strategizing. You need to be creative. And Dan Ariely, who is a behavioral science professor at Duke University, has concluded in all his science that our brain works at its best in like the first 2 to 3 hours of the day. And because of that, we want to do our most important work, I believe, in that time. Because why would we not want to just make things easier on ourselves, and when our brain's working at its best, be doing our most important work? And that is work that we are creating, right? We want to be proactive rather than reactive, creative rather than reactive. So I meditate and I do breath work. I do a variety of different meditations. What I've been doing lately is something that Tony Robbins is huge on, called priming. And it is a breath sequence and then a meditation sequence that's really, really, really powerful. Just Google Tony Robbins priming exercise. He has it online. It's for 10 minutes. But I find that one really valuable. I get my red light, and after that, I do a quick 5-minute mobility session. Again, think you're just laying in a specific position at night for 8 hours. So your body is going to be tight. So a great time to do mobility, I like to do it in my morning bookend and my evening bookend, is to do it first thing in the morning, because it's going to loosen up your hips. You're going to feel more energized, and you're going to feel more primed for the movement that you're going to do throughout the day. After that, I do something called Bolt Score. So right now we're probably about 25 minutes in. I meditate usually 15, 20 minutes. Got my water, meditation, did 5 minutes of stretching. And then Bolt Score is where I hold my breath and I count how many steps that I am going to do. And that's something I learned from Patrick McKeown. It's a great way to improve VO2 max. It's a great way to monitor kind of health of the body. And you want to get a number there at least above 40. I'm usually hoping for 70, 80. And then after that, I get into what I call a deep work time block. This is something that Cal Newport, a super, super, super smart professor at Georgetown, brought to the culture a few years ago. And basically what that means is you're just working on one thing. You're not working on anything else. And in that deep work time block, again, I highly recommend that it's something that you are creating rather than something that you are reacting to. So that's my morning routine. Again, it's iterative. My meditation changes. The mobility sequence I do changes. What I also like to do in the middle of that 90-minute deep work time block is, so that's when I'll take the dog out and get a walk. So I'll get my morning sunshine. I'll get my first set of movement. I'll get my first set of steps. But you want to have things in there, I believe, that is just a core piece of optimal performance and optimal physiology and optimal brain function that dials in these fundamentals. So I have a little bit of training in there. That's the mobility. That's the the early morning steps and sunshine. I have focus and mindset in there with the breath work and the meditation. I have nutrition in there with the 30 ounces of spring water, with the hydrogen tablets, with the salt, the lemon juice, and I have the breath work as part of the mindset meditation that I have in there. So again, it's super simple. We're not talking about some 2-hour thing here, but it's really, really, really valuable, I believe, and the science and data back this up, to bookend your days, because you want to be able to get stuff done to help optimize your physiology and your cognitive functioning, because that's going to set you up to just be at a higher level and a higher platform later in the day as the day goes on. So, morning routine. This is what I recommend. Get hydrated, have some sort of short movement practice. Definitely do some sort of meditation and or breath work before checking your phone. Meditation, I know, is still can be challenging for some people. What we found when we were getting NFL players ready for the combine for a few years, the most effective strategy to get them to try meditation is to get a candle and just have them look at the candle and focus on the candle. And then some kind of mobility. And most importantly, for all of you entrepreneurs, high-performing business professionals out there, do your creative work before you do reactive work. Okay, Dan Ariely, who is the head of just very, very well-recognized expert on human behavior, I think he's at Duke University now, has said our first 2 to 3 hours of the day is when our brain is functioning at its best, right? And that's usually after like a half hour to like fully wake up. Of course, we do a priming exercise, we get our water, we get our mobility, we're going to wake up even faster, we're going to be even more of a peak state. But create before you react. Okay, let me know if you want to see my checklist. I'd be happy to show it to you. Again, what we have our clients do once we get all their data is we start dialing in their fundamentals and we work with them to create a optimal first hour of the day, optimal last hour of the day, getting this idea of controlling the controllables, focusing on your process. Your process might be different than my process, but it's all about taking the time and the awareness and the experiment to figure out what your best process is. And again, there is some high-level universal principles that work for almost everybody. Hope you found this helpful. Bonus tip for those that stayed till the end. Of course, we're going to talk about the one fundamental that we haven't talked about, and that is sleep. A great day starts the night before. So the more organized you are in terms of how you're going to spend your morning, the less decisions you have to make, right, in terms of what clothes you're going to wear. You already have your water in the fridge. You already have your red light or your meditation station set up, all of that. Then the smoother and more of a flow-like state your morning's going to go. And in my experience and the experience of thousands of clients that have gone through this process, the more that morning flows, the more of a beautiful runway you have to take off and have an extraordinary day. So bonus tip, great day starts the night before. Get organized. Do what it takes to have a great night of sleep. We have videos on what you can do to have a great night of sleep. And have an extraordinary morning. Let's get better today.